Good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you happen to be when you're watching this. We appreciate the opportunity to get a chance to visit with you. My name is Zala Fashant. I'm with my colleague Karen LaPlant. We're from the state of Minnesota, and both as Minnesota State folks and as Innovation Synergy people who are working with faculty and getting the opportunity to be able to share this kind of information with you here at D2L. So welcome D2L Fusion Learning Company, or community that is, and we'll get the opportunity to get to share with you a little bit about what we've been working on in this respect. Wanted to share this, this actually won an award a couple of weeks ago for the AI Tools Outstanding session at the e-learning consortium of Colorado. Now, the reason I bring this up is that I actually made the badge for this, the award for this, with Canva, and we'll be talking about that later as we go through the presentation. So we're talking about quality, we're talking about AI, we're talking about quality course design. And what we want to do, of course, is we want to put the A and the I in quality course design. So the importance of quality in AI design is the fact that it really uses artificial intelligence to enhance human intelligence. And that's exactly what we've been working with faculty on as we're designing courses, and the opportunities that we've been able to do at presenting at conferences like Fusion, to be able to share with you some of the tools and the outstanding work that we have intelligence. Is you'll see here a listing, a late listing within late last year of the 50 most visited AI tools with over 24 billion visits. And as you can see by the chart on the left side, the United States is predominant in the number of users here. As you look at all the pretty colored dots in the middle of this graphic, you'll probably recognize maybe some of the AI tools you have worked with or that you've heard about. And so you can see by popularity, obviously sort of the ChatGPT ends up being probably the most popular, but others are gaining and others are, as we see, blended together. They're being used, they're being embedded with other tools such as Microsoft Office or Google, Gmail, those kinds of things. These are great opportunities for you to take a look at that today. One of the things that we just got done, we did at a conference where we were talking with folks, and we were really talking about the paid versus the free AI tools. And as you can see here, here's a list of different AI tools that some of which we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. We have tried out some of the free versions, and we have experimented more with the paid versions because free is a great way to start. Paid provides added features that you don't get in the free versions. And the tip in doing this and not breaking the bank is think of yourself as you may have streaming services. Buy a tool, do your project, and drop it at the end of the month. You'll save money, you'll get what you want to get out of it. And when you need to use it again, repurchase the tool and use it again. So you're not just paying for a bunch of things, you're not being able to do that. I got that tip from a friend of mine who works for Netflix, and even with Netflix, she doesn't even keep Netflix all the time, but she'll use Hulu, she'll switch to HBO Max, she'll switch back to Netflix, and so she rotates, watches what she wants to watch, and then moves on from there. So today, we're going to be looking at the apps du jour. As you can see here on the right-hand side, here's a useful set of AI tools. Everything in yellow are the tools that we're going to be using. And so we're going to be talking about today and give you a little bit of exposure and experience with. I'll give you a minute to look those over as we talk. But when you really think about it, some of you may have familiarity with these. Some of you may have familiarities with some of the ones that aren't highlighted in yellow, but one of the things you want to think about is they're similar. So when we talk about ChatGPT, we're also talking about Bard, we're talking about Bing, we're talking about how you can develop text and generate text that way. Another thing that I wanted to just quickly mention before we go deeper here is we're using several resources in the presentation today. One is Designing Effective Teaching and Significant Learning. That's the book that Karen and I, with some of our colleagues, have written. Gives us a great opportunity to really talk about effective teaching. It will walk you through course design. It talks about what is best for students and what delivers quality instruction for students. As you can see here, with our innovation synergy, the work that we do with that, we have actually developed online courses for you to be able to take, for you to be able to take a look at. And when you look at some of those, you can see at especially the bottom one, AI tools for quality course design. You'll hear me talking about that quite a bit today because everything that goes into greater depth from this presentation is in that course, step-by-step directions, and everything else, prompts and responses and everything that we can do to give you deeper dive information is in that course. With these online self-paced courses, you get a certificate when you complete the course, and you get the opportunity to subscribe, and we'll talk more about that later on. Now, today's goal is really to lay out a set of tools in front of you. In no way are we trying to tell you you've got to use all of these tools or that you have to use any of these tools. But we're not defending whether you should be using tools. We know that we'll be using tools, but part of the process here is really going to give you a chance to take a look at sort of the buffet of AI tools that are out there for you to be able to use. You've probably seen graphics like this, ideas for using generative AI. When you look at all the different Post-it notes that exist here, you'll find that so many ideas exist. And so you can use them for research, you can use them for literacy, accessibility, assessment, and everything across the top line there. Gives you a great opportunity and quite a bit of flexibility. Today, we're going to be using this in talking about course design, in providing feedback, creating assessments, assignments, developing resources with annotated bibs, self-assessment, rubric creation, assessment pathways. And one of the things that we think is extremely important here is the advantages for students is greater engagement and deeper level higher thinking in your courses. So right now, we're currently going through a learning renaissance. And I think that when we take a look at this, it's much like the Middle Ages going into the Renaissance, where we have an explosion of opportunities in learning. A lot of the problems that we've had in learning, we're going to be able to develop strategies to be able to help students get through that. And finally, of course, we'll develop some of our own problems as we go through this together. So first of all, let's talk about ChatGPT. We use it to create and align outcomes, assessments, and activities, developing the rubrics and directions, as I mentioned before, discovering resources, either in print, podcasts, video, media, OER, and also providing both teaching and learning strategies. So let's walk through an example. I created this History of Greece course. And one of the things I wanted to do is to see how well ChatGPT or its counterparts would be able to help with this. So when we do the Course Design Institute and we're working with our book as a textbook for the Course Design Institute, we help faculty develop outcomes and create courses based on the information that's in that book. So one of the things is I created this prompt, and the prompt that you see in front of you is very detailed. And of course, the more detail you have, the better kinds of responses you get back from it. So when we look at this, you'll notice some of the parts are in green. Those things I wanted to make sure that it saw. That was the history of Greece. It was a 400 level course, so it would get some sort of an idea as to the kinds of students I wanted to create this course for. I wanted 5 outcomes in the cognitive domain of application, which is within the taxonomy of significant learning, something else we talk about in our book. So when we look at that, we've actually devised verbs that work really great for application outcomes. And so I gave it those application verbs so it would be able to create better outcomes for me. And here's what I got. It gave me 5 application outcomes. And as you can see, the bulleted ones there, it's about analyzing, assessing, demonstrating. Now, it also, for the last 2, gave me 2 verbs, design and develop. I think I probably stick with design only, because if you're developing something, you're designing it. And justify and defend, same kind of thing. I could just use justify. It would give me that opportunity to be able to use these. Now, I wouldn't necessarily just take these and put them into my course and call it good. Of course, the human impact is I'm going to go through these, see what I like, see what I agree with, see what's best for my students, see the direction of what I want to use these. But what it did is it gave me 5 significant application outcomes for me to really consider in the use of designing the course. So next, not only did I create the outcomes for each of my design domains, the other 5 domains in the taxonomy of significant learning, but I also created assessments with rubrics. I created activities that had both rubrics and directions. I created assessments and activities that were aligned with the outcomes. I wanted to make sure that all of those were aligned, because that's our best teaching, when they show that they're aligned. I also created online discussion prompts for the students to be able to use in online discussions within the LMS. So when I did that, I also created rubrics for those, because I wanted to have the opportunity to save myself some time and effort to be able to edit those later. I also had ChatGPT create an annotated bibliography that would fit the outcomes, 3 teaching strategies, 3 learning strategies. All of that took 10 minutes to be able to create all of those for me. Now, were they the best? Well, I need, of course, to edit those. I needed to look and see what fit my preferences, what I decided was the best when it came to assessments and activities based on the way I would want to have my course run. I did find that there was a decent quality. This beat my expectations. The rubrics were the thing that needed the most work. And obviously, rubrics kind of fit the instructor. The rubrics, you want to have a certain nuance in them. There's certain words you want to be able to use. There's things that you want to come across as helpful and valuable for students. And sometimes ChatGPT doesn't always understand that. It's getting better. Then I moved on to the next domain, and in the taxonomy of significant learning. And in about 70 minutes, I had all 6 areas completed, and I was ready to really start making major edits to be able to create my course. Now, here's one idea for using ChatGPT for assessment that some of you may have already come up with: creating examples. One of the biggest time takers in my teaching career has always been, oh, I should give them some examples for this. They'd start to understand what's going on. They'd be able to see what it is I'm trying to get them to be able to create as students. So let's say I wanted to have the students create a 5-page paper. Now, one of the things I told ChatGPT is create an introduction, body of ideas, support those with citations from journal articles and experts, create a conclusion, a bibliography with sources and footnotes if applicable. And so I also gave it the style. Am I going to use APA, MLA, Chicago, etc.? The more information I can give to ChatGPT, the better responses I'm going to get from it. So I uploaded a rubric that I was going to use to grade this assignment, and I asked ChatGPT to create a 5-page assignment, creating meeting the excellent criterion, the satisfactory criterion, and the needs improvement criterion. In minutes, I had my 3 writing examples that I could use for this to be able to share with the students. So what I would do with my students, I'd let them rate them. I'd let them pick which was excellent, which was satisfactory, which needed improvement. I'd also probably get together and get them working in teams to create and correct a better paper by fixing the needs improvement paper. They can identify the errors, They can offer the suggestions how to fix them so that it would make it an excellent criteria. And they'd have one of those papers written so they could see an example of the kinds of things that we'd want to do. They could also critique it. Maybe there are things about the excellent paper that they didn't really care for, things that they think that could be done better. It's a great opportunity for them to share discussion on that. Now, what you can do is give the students an opportunity to do some self-assessment. ChatGPT type tools can provide students with feedback like they can use their editor tool in Word to clean it up. They can upload the rubric that you're providing. They can ask ChatGPT for feedback on the quality of their own assignment, and then they can make the corrections and submit them to you. One of the things that I think is critical is I often will have them write a reflection paper. What did you see? What feedback did you get? What did you do with that feedback? And how did you improve your paper? All of those kinds of things become extremely important. And as I told you earlier, the step-by-step detailed prompts, directions, how to be able to do this are all in the AI tools for quality course design course that we provide. We'll talk about that at the end. Now, we're going to move on to some graphic kinds of opportunities to be able to create graphics for your own course design to make things a little bit more interesting. These are things that if you can decide as a campus what kind of program you're going to be able to use, you can have students do as well. But for you, all of these pictures that you're seeing today, I created in Midjourney Bot. So I really don't have to give many. I gave it a prompt, it gave me some choices. Here's what it created for me. I don't need to be able to do that. However, in student work, always have them cite the fact of when they're using these tools. Midjourney is a program, if you're not familiar with it, that can help you develop graphics, logos, pictures, anything that you want that way to be able to enhance the visual content of your course. It helps to start to bring your course alive and make it more interesting. Now, one of the things, the advantages or best practices that Midjourney Bot can actually bring is that it brings a diversity of visual content. So you may actually have some actual maps, photos of people, those kinds of things there, but you can also take it to a new direction by bringing in greater diversity in visual content to be able to get students to probe and think a little bit deeper. It can also create quality content for use in your own presentations, as well as the idea of how do you teach them to be able to use these in presentations that are going to be usable skills for their professional careers. And finally, you can create comparison graphics, charts, graphs, logos for any sort of project, predictive illustrations, etc. And so you can do it. And like I said, if your campus decides on a direction to go with that, you can have them do that as well. Now, in some ChatGPT types of things, they're bringing in DALL-E, they're bringing in other kinds of graphic programs like this. So not only do you just create pages of text, but you can also create visuals to go along with that text. As you can see here, designers can actually enter graphic information and create a visual way to actually display concepts for learners. Sometimes that picture does speak 1,000 words. They can use graphics to introduce units. You can do everything that way. And these products could also be shared with open source sites. We're going to talk about the Synthesia in just a minute, but sometimes Midjourney is a great way to start with something, and then you can use it when it comes to avatars and creating other multimedia type presentations. One idea of an assignment doing something like this is, back to my Greek course again, I wanted to actually have the students create trading style cards, sort of baseball cards to trade, if you think about it. But these are going to be the thinkers of Greece. And so you can include Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, Pythagoras. You can have ChatGPT give you ideas, more examples of those. Students could actually create background information, detailed information about these people and their lives, and then you would have the opportunity to be able to visually create these cards. I would use them in my courses like badges. So every time a student saw something that was well done, a well-written assignment, great online discussion post, they could actually give that person who wrote it one of their baseball cards and trading cards like that. And of course, the goal would be trying to increase the quality of your projects so that students are collecting all the cards. Another thing that you could do is use the same style of cards, but you can use them with inventors or inventions, the innovators from Greece, the ancient Greek gods, or places to see in Greece, whether that's ancient Greece or modern day Greece. You can get the opportunity to get them being able to use the trading cards to get a little bit more excited about what it is that they're studying and seeing, to try and collect all of them and make it sort of a game and an opportunity to motivate them to do that. As an instructor, I might want to use sort of the Olympic icons that come from Greece. Those are the Greek laurels that are there that were given to the original champions in the ancient Olympics. Or you could use something today like the bronze, silver, gold medals, where you could actually, again, post those on students who provide excellent work, give them an opportunity to realize that they exceeded expectations in what it is they're doing. As you can see, this is a picture of three gentlemen, Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato. I created it in ChatGPT, but now I could actually have, I created it in Midjourney, but now ChatGPT could actually help me with the ideas that would come forth that these three gentlemen are talking about. The topics could include what's the importance of having peace in developing civilization. As you can see by the bullets on the left-hand side, they can speak to each one of those parts there. If you even wanted to, eventually, by moving that, you could change these into avatars, and they could be creating the conversation and having their lips and heads move as they're talking back and forth, sharing their philosophies of why peace is important in developing civilizations. We're going to move on to the avatars, or in this case, the AI voiceover sessions. So if we take a look at that, one of the things that becomes extremely important is that you want to think about how you can bring a little bit more lively action into your courses. So Synthesia is one of the AI tools that you could use for this. And as you can see, this is a demonstration of Synthesia.
Synthesia is a program to develop videos for your courses. The advantages and best practices it provides to enhance significant learning are the following. Students can see and learn from a diversity of speakers, avatars, throughout your course. The students can learn how to create quality content for use in presentations and discussions, which are usable skills for their professional careers. The designers can choose from female, male, multiple ages, diverse cultures, accents, voice demeanor, and can choose from multiple languages. The designers can enter text for the avatar to share with learners. The avatars will use body language to read content text in a lifelike manner. The designers can use these to introduce units, concepts, campus assistance, etc. These are not to replace faculty videos. Students seeing your face and hearing your voice is an important way to connect with students. These avatars add diversity and enhance the student learning experience.
And so if you think about that, you have the opportunity to be able to create that. It's a little bit like PowerPoint. You can put the information on the side with that. It doesn't take you that long. You can feed the script into the actual application, and it takes about 10 minutes and it'll create that for you. So all in all, that probably took anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to be able to create all of that and have it done. And I can slip it into my course anytime I want to use it. Well, what about creating your own avatar? You can see here's a picture that I use quite a bit for conference profiles and everything that way. Synthesia will let you do that for about $1,000, which is extremely steep. So we can try Canva, and we can try some other things using Canva and using DID for being able to create your own avatar. So I took this picture, and now by using those applications, I have the opportunity to be able to create this one with my
Welcome
voice.
to Innovation Synergy, where learning meets opportunity. Whether you're an ambitious entrepreneur, an inspiring educator, a passionate marketer, or an innovator seeking to turn artificial intelligence into increased human intelligence, we have the solutions to empower you on your path to success.
So you can see it just took a little bit from a still photo and made it into something that I could create to be able to have that as though I'm speaking to my students. Canva, let's talk about that. We mentioned it earlier. It's great for those of you who like badges. You want to design your own badges. These two badges happen to be an opportunity when you look at things that we gave to conference participants at the QM Connect conference in Minnesota. There's hundreds of templates. It's very similar to PowerPoint. You can maneuver things around. You can move the lettering. You can pick from anywhere in one of the templates. You can individualize badges to fit your course. You can give them similar colors. You can give them unique colors based on the concepts. You can use them within your department to sort of, again, brand your whole idea of what it is that you're going to be able to do for students to motivate them. But Canva is another great use for you to be able to use AI tools in your course. This one is from Pictory, and you can see there's an avatar in the upper left-hand corner that's going to be doing the speaking. But the opportunity is now we can create a multimedia project behind it that fits the script.
Welcome to Innovation Synergy, a leading provider of cutting-edge online courses in digital marketing analysis and strategies, as well as artificial intelligence integrations for sales growth and engagement. At Innovation Synergy, our mission is to empower individuals and businesses to thrive in the rapidly evolving digital landscape. We believe that by equipping our learners with advanced knowledge in digital marketing and the strategic implementation of AI, they can achieve unprecedented growth and success in their endeavors. Participants will learn how to harness the power of analytics tools to identify and understand target audiences, leverage data to create accurate buyer personas, ensuring highly targeted and personalized campaigns.
And we'll just let that go from there. You can create there's the background music that comes in there. You can also close caption it. You got the opportunity to be able to share that. Again, the descriptions, the step-by-step directions are all in the AI tools course that we provide for you. So you can get the opportunity to be able to share that. Capwing is yet another AI tool. And what it does is it's a comprehensive online platform. It'll allow you to enhance course content. One of the things that we use this for, here's an example, was for a session that we did at one of our conferences where we wanted to be able to motivate people to come to our session. And so you get a chance to see that again. There's closed captioning. There's the opportunity to be able to see visuals that go along with the text script.
Faculty and instructional designers are recognizing the strategies AI applications can deliver significant learning to courses. In this session, we examine how AI tools can be used in course design, enhance assessments and learning activities, and ways to save time so they can focus their time on teaching students. The focus is to provide practical ideas where the AI is used for quality achievement, using artificial intelligence to develop and expand human intelligence. Participants will consider the latest pedagogical best practices that will increase student learning and skill development needed for their careers, and will have the opportunity to share their own practices during the session. Specific examples, of course, design ideas for assessments and rubrics, including self-assessments, student assignments using AI, resource creation, and teaching and learning strategies to increase engagement and higher-level thinking are presented. Deeper dive resources are offered for participants' just-in-time future learning. Innovation Synergy. We are ready when you are.
So this gives you an opportunity to see how you could use those for introducing content, the beginning to help motivate students to get excited about the unit that you're about ready to start, to be able to share that in there. Pretty easily done. Again, you can choose from the videos. You can choose how to put that together. The music is there for you. So you really get an opportunity to think about doing all of that in a pretty straightforward, easy way. So let's go back to that course that we created before in Greece. And so here's an example of using those to motivate students as we're going to talk about Alexander the Great.
In this unit, you will have the opportunity to learn about me, Alexander, King of Macedonia. During this module, you will better understand my education as a student of Aristotle, my rise to power, my drive to build an empire, unlike any other empire in history. You will understand how my learning from Aristotle affected my destiny and drove me to learn more about Egypt, where I built an entire city dedicated to learning through a library, which was the largest in the world. I wanted to create a civilization of people who also valued trade, commerce, education, and culture. I did have challenges. I won battles and took advantage of the spoils of war. Some wouldn't consider me a hero based on that cruelty. You will have the opportunity to dive deeper into the person I was and decide whether my legacy is still valued today. Take a few moments to reflect about what you currently know about me. As you do so, start a list of questions you would like to ask me if you could meet me in person.
So the nice part about doing this is that you have the opportunity to choose from video, you have the opportunity to choose from pictures that they have in the Capwing library. You can also bring in some of your own pictures. So as you have things that you may be doing in your biology lab that you want to be able to talk about, you may want to share some of this for the types of equipment that you're going to be able to use in whatever program that's there. You have the opportunity to really sort of motivate students and to inform them at the same time to get them to start thinking about what it is they're going to be studying. So the nice thing about Capwing is that there's an efficiency, there's the accessibility bit, you've got the whole translation of subtitles, you've got languages to work with so that if you want for your students of a particular population, actually create the same video, but do it so that you have do it in their language, so that they have the opportunity to hear it there as well. There's a flexibility where you can start to create one presentation, but you can use parts of it and trim. Same time, and you could be updating it from different locations, which is a very, very nice thing for them to get to do. A little bit like Google Docs, except you're getting to use video and putting these visual presentations together. And then there's a professional quality to the whole thing when it's done. If you're interested in learning more about that, of course, you can go to the AI tools for quality course design, and we give you those step-by-step directions as to what to do and how to use it. As I explained before, these tend to be the paid versions. They tend to give you better products. They tend to give you more features than the free products do. And so start with free, get a chance to play with it. If you really like it and you think you want to take it someplace, then I would use that strategy of purchasing what I need for as long as I need it, then dropping it and picking it up again in the future. Another one I want to talk to you for a moment about is Heigen. Heigen actually is a way for you to create avatars, either from existing avatars that they have or by creating your own. So 300 voices that are pre-selected, or you can also use your own voice. You can also translate your voice and others into 40 plus languages, your text, your content, and then you can choose the presentation backgrounds, which again, it is a sort of PowerPoint style of being able to put that together. Let's take a look at example and see my avatar in Heigen.
Welcome students to this semester's History of Greece course. Bienvenue aux étudiants à ce cours d'histoire de la Grèce de ce semestre. 欢迎学生们参加本学期的希腊历史课程。यूनान का इतिहास पाठ्यक्रम में छात्रों का स्वागत होता है. This semester you will have the opportunity to explore the history and culture of Greece. This history is said to be one of most substantial in all the world. ギリシャの歴史を通じて思想家、発明、家臣、哲学の影響を調査し、ギリシャ文明を世界で最も影響力のあるものの一つにした要因を検討します。Wir werden auch das moderne Griechenland der letzten 200 Jahre studieren. Sie haben die Möglichkeit, diesen Kurs zu personalisieren, indem Sie mehr über ein Thema erfahren, das Sie vertiefen möchten. You will analyze an aspect of the content that means more to you by designing your own learning and sharing what you have discovered with your peers.
So it's a great opportunity for you to take a look and see what is there, what you're able to do, what you're able to use. If you like that, where you can bring your face, your voice into your course a little bit more than that, it saves you a lot of time and trouble than going to a special room or multimedia set up where you've got cameras and you've got recording areas and sort of recording your own. And then if you want to change something, oops, it's a little bit more because you got to go back in and go through that all over again. It gives you the closed captioning, which makes it great for ADA. And then you can work on that, you can change it, you can fix it. In a matter of minutes at your laptop, you can actually go back in and make improvements the next semester. You can add new things if you want to. And so that's why I think these become eventually time-saving tools. Let me also show you one of the things that's going to be, it's not out there yet, but it's coming, this sort of open AI's version called Sora, where you get a chance to see what they're doing with and what you'll be able to do with multimedia production.
This is not a real video. It is generated by Sora, a text-to-video model by OpenAI. Sora generates high-resolution videos with realistic scene dynamics up to 1 minute. These generated videos have excellent 3D consistency, simulating plausible fluid dynamics, snow particles, and refractions. But how does Zala work?
And I'll let you be able to take a look a little bit more at that. One of the things that I find is very interesting there is those of you who are from snowy climates, you recognize, you see that snow on the dogs, on the puppies. It's like, that's amazing. And that looks like what it looks like. So Sora is a next generation. It's going to be probably out on the market soon. Whether it's free, whether there's a free version of it yet, I don't really know. There'll most likely be a paid version. So you get the opportunity to take a look at what it is that you could do. And I want to get your juices flowing, give you a chance to start thinking about it. Well, now we can actually combine some of these things for chatbots. Creating a chatbot for your class. And if you really think about some of the ways that you can have the opportunity to share information about your course with your students. And so this was done by using Midjourney to create a picture of a chatbot. And then we brought in Capwing and Heigen to be able to manipulate that, to be able to create this into a presentation. Obviously, there's user interaction that takes place. There's some sort of an input that needs to take place there where the student or the learner would be able to type something in, looking down. The chatbot will look and break it down into what we call tokens, analyze the grammar, extract any entities and intents with that to be able to provide the best response. And in that best response, we want to look at the data that you have trained your chatbot with, the information you have given it. If you want to think about it, this is really your FAQs, all the information you want students to be able to have and find quickly they could use within your LMS to be able to find this information in a chatbot. So it's really maximizing your whole frequently asked questions. And then finally, the nice part of that, I really enjoy most of this, is that if a student types in a question and you don't have that information in there, it will generate an email to you and you'll be able to get the opportunity to then provide that student with the information and then provide the chatbot with that information so that future students have it. Let's take a look at an example of maximizing FAQs.
For a university course, I could cover a wide range of topics, including course schedule, information about class times, important dates, and deadlines. Syllabus details, breakdown of course modules, topics covered each week, and readings. Assignment instructions, details on assignment requirements, submission guidelines, and grading criteria. Exam preparation, study tips, practice questions, and information on exam format and policies. Resource navigation, guidance on how to access course materials, such as lecture slides, reading materials, and supplementary resources. Technical support, help with accessing and using the LMS or other educational technologies. Office hours, information about the instructor's availability and how to schedule a meeting. Campus resources, information about tutoring services, libraries, writing centers, and other support services. I can store the questions students ask so you can add additional information to the content of how I can help meet your students' needs. By providing this information through a chatbot like me, you can offer students immediate 24/7 assistance and enhance their learning experience by making important course-related information easily accessible. Descriptions and step-by-step directions for avatars are in the course. AI tools for quality course design by Innovation Synergy.
All right, so as we take a look at that, one of the things that you may want to be able to do is, again, think about the advantages and disadvantages of AI. Think of the things that you've seen here. How could these help your students? What are the pitfalls? What kinds of things may not help your students? That is totally for you to decide, because you are the content creator. You are the curator of the information that goes into this course. I'm today simply expressing and showing you the kinds of things that will be more and more readily available for you in the future. I truly believe that our LMSs and our opportunities through using Word programs, Office 365, those kinds of things, will have more of this embedded right within it. And so there'll be great opportunities for you to be able to do this. And yet we can still keep it fair for students. We can really work on the biases. We can take a look at everything else that's there. Just because they're AI tools doesn't mean they're going to have fewer or greater numbers of issues like this. It just means that they're going to still be there because they're trained with the same information. So one of the things I would like you to do is feel free to at this point, grab your camera, your phone that is, that has a camera in it, and take a picture of this. You can get a badge. You get a badge for the D12 Fusion conference, the one that we're for this session, that is. If you email me, and you can see my email address at the bottom, zala.fashant@insynergy.com. If you email me, I'll be able to get that just in the subject. If you put AI tools in there, that way I know you watch the video and to which badge I'm sending you. That will be very, very helpful. I'll also send you a bonus link of an article about AI and whether colleges are ready or not yet. Thanks for participating. And you can reach either myself or Karen at metrostate.edu and be able to participate more with us, ask us questions about things that you've learned from the presentations or things that you're still a little cloudy with on the presentations, and we'll get back to you on that. You can also join our Innovation Synergy Facebook group. There's an opportunity for you to be able to see some of the latest, greatest bits of technology and other types of things that are being out there, that are that are going to be able to be used in your teaching. So feel free to join that group on Facebook. And I also want to, again, if you can use the QR code there, you'll see where you can access the self-paced courses. The AI tools for quality course design, that's where you get the step-by-step directions for the tools, everything that will walk you through and how to be able to utilize them are in that course, as well as examples of some of the things that we've gotten as we've done them and used them. We have also the Online Course Design Institute, which is something that Karen and I present, and we walk people through the very same thing of being able to use everything that you need to know about course design in that course in 9 sessions that we do with workshops with different institutions, and we can set something up with you on that. We also have another program, another course in there called Facing the Future, Artificial Intelligence in Higher Education. So right now there's 14 online educational courses. We're working on another 6 to be able to put in there. Each one gets you a certificate. If you go to is-courses.com, you'll be able to get that information or use the QR code. It's a monthly subscription It's a very reasonable monthly subscription for 28 euros or 25 euros or about $28. You get the opportunity to have full access to all of the courses. So from that standpoint, take a photo of this page so you can come back to it and you can use it. We really want to thank you. Karen's a bit under the weather and coughing and having a bit of a hoarse voice, and mine's starting to wear out as well, but we really enjoyed putting this together for you, and we enjoy having the opportunity to share this with you. We hope we hear from you during the Fusion conference when you have an opportunity to watch this, and keep in touch. Let us know how you're doing, what you're using. We really appreciate that feedback. So anyway, have a great day.